Are you dreading the upcoming holidays? Approaching them with a pit in your stomach? If you are, I get it. I remember those days well. I remember one year when we were going to Florida to visit my parents for Christmas, and I was super excited about that, and I should be. Like, I'd never been down to their place in Florida, and I was really excited. They'd only moved there, just recently. But yet, this meant a 12-hour car ride with my husband. It meant a week long of 24/7 with him, staying in a small bedroom, and it meant a 12-hour ride back. Okay, if I didn't have a pit in my stomach, if I told you I didn't, I would be lying. I was approaching this trip with dread. How am I going to get through this? And I've got, my 2 boys with us, and how are we going to get through this and keep peace? I knew I was going to spend all of my time trying to keep things peaceful and navigating around his emotions and his moods. Was I looking forward to that? No, not at all. Honestly, I was looking forward to getting back and him going back to work, because that's when I got the break. I remember a year that we went, we got a beach house, and as a family, my extended family, we went to the beach house for the holidays. And again, this should be a time when you're looking forward to it and excited about it. But no, I was looking with dread. I didn't want to go. And I hated feeling that way, and I certainly wasn't going to admit that, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do this. Who dreads the holidays? People who are living with covert narcissists, or people who are visiting covert narcissistic family members. That's what's going on when you're approaching the holiday season. To those of you that are heading into these holidays with covert narcissists in your life, I see you. I get it. I understand. And give yourself permission to voice the thoughts that are in your head. Now, we've got to find some humor at times. We've got to find a way to approach this with, some form of outside perspective, or we're all going to lose our minds. So this year, I've got the right tool for you. This year, we are playing Covert Narcissist Bingo. Welcome to the Covert Narcissism Podcast. I'm your host, Renee Swanson. I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. Yeah, you heard me right. We're going to play bingo. I am making bingo cards this weekend, and I'm going to be passing them out to everyone who's on my mailing list. So if you want these bingo cards, and I'm going to describe it here in just a minute, if you want these bingo cards, get on my mailing list. Go to my website at covertnarcissism.com. Join the mailing list, and these cards will go out. All right, what are these cards? So bingo cards are for those who are still in this relationship with a covert narcissist, whether that be a spouse or a co-parent if you're co-parenting with them, or your own parent that you got to go visit during the holidays, or your sibling or your adult child, whoever it is that's the covert narcissist in your life. All right, so what's on the bingo card? I put a Facebook post out that was for, hey, I'm making bingo cards, give me ideas. And this just went crazy. The post went crazy and lots of good ideas on there. So what do bingo cards look like? How about rolling their eyes? When you say, hey, I've worked so hard on this meal for the family and I'm really proud of how everything turned out. Doesn't the table look good? And they roll their eyes. Or you ask for help of, hey, can you take the trash out for me? And they roll their eyes. Okay. B, 27, rolling their eyes. All right. How about huffing? Yeah, I got a whole lot of huffing. Hey, our friends are coming over in an hour. Can you please help me to clean up around here? Okay. But the huff. Bingo. All right. How about sulking, pouting? This looked like sitting in a corner in a dark room, making this show of being upset and making sure everyone knows how upset they are. How about laying across the kitchen floor to make sure that you see how upset they are? How about sitting down right beside you, plopping down, crossing their arms, clearly upset, maybe even a huff too, and not saying a word, waiting for you to ask, are you okay? Oh, what's wrong? That's sulking. How about lying? Lying comes out during the holidays. When you're opening Christmas gifts or the day before Christmas gifts and they go, oh, I ordered this great gift for you, but, there were issues with the delivery. It won't come until January, when in reality, they forgot to get anything. How about blaming you? When you gently mention, hey, we really need to leave soon or we'll be late, and they respond with something like, well, if you hadn't distracted me earlier asking about dinner plans, I would not have lost track of time. You always do this. This is your fault. Okay, this is something that happens during these holidays, and we look at it with dread because we know it's coming. Well, if you know it's coming, then play bingo instead. Watch it like an observer. Watch it like an outside perspective. How about backwards apologies? I'm sorry you feel that way, but I really didn't do anything wrong. Or I'm sorry that you got upset, but I was just being honest. I'm sorry, but. Or even, I never said that. Backwards apologies. How about empty promises? When you're asking for help with the dishes, hey, will you help out with this? Or hey, while I do the dishes, can you put the food away? And they get mad, they huff, they take offense, and they sharply respond, I'll do all the dishes from now on. Well, clearly they're not going to. This is an empty promise. And yes, you can get huffing and empty promises at the same time. So, B37 and G14. How about a ruined dinner? A time when they storm out of the room, jump up from the table and march off, leaving everyone else feeling bad. How about an argument right before being with family and friends, picking a fight with you in the car on the way to dinner? They act like then when they get there, they act like everything is great, putting on a front. And you're miserable, you're upset still, and then they ask you, well, what's wrong? And they might even say this in front of others, so they look very caring and putting you in an impossible situation. You can't answer now, and now you look like the problem. How about nitpicking, correcting your grammar while not hearing what you're actually trying to communicate? Picking on you about how you're making dinner while not lifting a finger to help? Critiquing you on how you're wrapping the gifts while sitting and doing nothing? Nitpicking. Nitpicking is a huge part. When you're with them 24/7, you are going to experience nitpicking. Helplessness. I don't understand, or I can't help because I don't know what you need. How am I supposed to do anything if you don't tell me what to do? Helplessness is a weaponized trait of covert narcissism. How about playing the victim? Well, you don't care. No one cares about me. I can't do anything right. I'm so useless. Why do you ever even put up with me? Playing the victim now kicks you into gear to where you're boosting the ego. Well, instead of boosting his ego or her ego, how about going and putting a little marker on your bingo card instead? Passive-aggressive comments. Well, I, for one, am not overeating. That's a passive-aggressive comment. This is a stab at you for how you are eating. How about, are you sure you want to wear that? I mean, it's fine, but I just thought you'd want to look your best. This is a digging remark under the disguise of being helpful and supportive, but you sure don't feel supported. How about, wow, I didn't expect you to actually pull that off. Good for you. That's a backhanded compliment. It leaves you feeling criticized. How about, I guess some people just need more attention than others. These are dismissive remarks, making you feel small and invalidated. How about, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead. I wouldn't have done it that way, but it's your choice. It's kind of supportive, but it's loaded with judgment. All of these are passive-aggressive comments, and I guess the more I think about it, I'm going to need to split the passive-aggressive comments into categories. So instead of passive-aggressive comments being on the bingo card, although it might be there still, but I think I'll put in digging remarks, backhanded compliments, dismissive comments, judgmental remarks. These are the passive-aggressive moments that we go through. How about a thoughtless gift? Even when they've known you for 15 years or more, they still buy you things that you don't like or that you don't want. Things like getting you chocolate when they know that you're cutting back on sweets. Who does this? Or buying you a sweater when you hate wearing sweaters and then say, well, I didn't know that. Now, I'm not talking about a friend who you see once or twice a year. I'm talking about your spouse. and you live with them in your home for 15 years or more, or 10 years or 30 years, however long it is? How about over-the-top gifts, the extravagant gifts that, they do because they feel you pulling away to make up for the bad days that leading up to it, and they want to make, everything right again or make things look good again. So they buy you these extravagant gifts to erase the bad behavior. All of this, somehow, I'm going to put on the bingo card. I don't know how. I'm going to need a really big piece of paper for this bingo card. Okay, but I am going to make these bingo cards, like I said, this weekend. You see, when we are approaching these holidays, people looking in from the outside, they can see the abusive behavior for what it is. When you are watching a movie, for example, you can call out the remarks and the behaviors that leave that other person feeling bad or feeling small and invalidated and dismissed. But when you're living it, you're right up against it like your face on a stained glass window, you can't see the whole picture. So what I encourage you to do, and I'm hoping the bingo approach will help, is take a step back. Play the observer now. Let's try to get that outside perspective so that we can see the behavior for what it is. And then while you're doing it, we're playing bingo. And it's like you're watching a movie and eating popcorn. And I've talked about this before. And these are popcorn moments. These moments when you see the behavior. And maybe I'll put a popcorn moment on the bingo card too. Because it's a moment where you really feel emotionally disconnected from the situation. And you're actually able to play observer. Now, what do you do when you get a bingo? Well, for starters, I want to know. I want to know if you got a bingo. So find a way to get a message through to me. There's email, there's Messenger, there's TikTok, there's, the podcast. I'll get comments on the podcast. Tell me when you get a bingo. But more importantly, treat yourself to something. Have something that's your win for bingo. Maybe a $10 gift for yourself. Maybe an undisturbed phone call with a friend or family member. How about 30 minutes of quiet reading time? How about putting your feet up and watching a show? No guilt and no self-judgment. You deserve a break. Now, some of you might be listening to this thinking, well, I'm already out of the relationship. Maybe this is a spouse is why you're here listening to the podcast. And I'm already out. So the bingo card effect, this idea wouldn't really apply to me. Well, that's okay, because I'm actually thinking about making bingo cards for those who are out as well. This might be things like catching yourself not thinking about narcissism, experiencing genuine laughter. How about noticing that your shoulders are relaxed? Peaceful sleep. Maybe even identifying a trigger. How about a meal without knots in your stomach? Maybe pop-up memories that you're going to experience. You might even have some self-doubt that creeps in from time to time. Now, I don't have enough things on this list yet to make my bingo card. So I'm asking you to send me a message, get a hold of me, and let me know what else needs to be on that bingo card. I need more ideas. And in fact, I'm going to make another post in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined that group, it's Covert Narcissism group. But I'm going to make another post in the Facebook group for ideas so that people can help me build that card as well. Again, I'm going to be making these cards available to everyone who's on my mailing list. So don't miss this opportunity and join us for a bingo game. Now, before we close off of here, I want to give you some other tools that you can use during the holidays when you're trapped in these homes with covert narcissists. Okay, we're all going to experience some of that. And we need some socially acceptable things that we can do during the holidays. Because when you're on vacation with your family, you can't just leave. You can't just, go close yourself off in a room. I mean, you can, but for those of us who are, trying not to be antisocial and we want to be, respectful to the host and all of this, then we can't do that. So we need ways that are, socially acceptable, that are maybe distractions, but keep us in the area, invested in the people we're with. So here's some ideas. How about helping with food preparations? Offer to help in the kitchen. Maybe that's not your thing, but I don't care. It's a great distraction. Go join the cooking or the baking or the cleanup. Okay, it's a very productive way to stay busy while staying involved. Another idea is to play games with the kids or pets, the kids and the pets that are there in the house where you are. Spend some time entertaining them. Entertain the younger family members. Maybe sit down and play a game with them. Maybe watch a show with them. You get time kind of away from the toxic family members or not so invested in them, and you get brownie points for engaging with the kids. Playing with the pets can also help you to stay engaged, but more at ease. Throw a ball with the dog. Maybe even offer to take them outside for a short walk. Another way is to volunteer to take photos. Become the photographer of your family event. You're capturing memories, and this can keep you occupied, and it offers an easy excuse to step back when you need to. You can even spend some time going through the photos, when you're sitting there and you're on your phone, but you let them know, hey, I'm going to go ahead and organize these photos. I'm going to delete the bad ones, come up with some ideas for some other good photos, maybe even distribute them to the various family members and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put them in folders and share those. Any of this will give you some distractions from the conversations and kind of keep you with a little bit of distance from those painful and uncomfortable conversations. Taking a walk is another really good way. You can suggest it, hey, let's everybody just go take a walk. It's refreshing to get a little bit of, outdoor time. And yes, the toxic family members might go with you on this, but that's okay. Just try to encourage others to join in too. And you still get to enjoy the fresh air. And you've got, things you can talk about. You can talk about any trees that you see or birds. I don't care if you don't know anything about trees. Hey, what kind of tree is that? Just get the conversation rolling in a safe topic. Board games. Board games are another really good way. Card games. We used to play cards all the time with our family. You sit and play cards. Don't take it too seriously, or you're just going to encourage the toxicity. A wooden puzzle. How about a family puzzle, that you put out at the table? One of my clients had a really good idea of a family photo puzzle. You can order these online and then you bring it to your family function and you just sit and work your puzzle. Their toxicity can just go all around you and they can, their conversations be going, but you just stay focused on the puzzle and you work the puzzle. It's a great distraction and it's also a great gift then to leave with the host. I hope that these ideas help you. Come up with other ideas. You got to go into this with a game plan to avoid the toxicity, but still be able to keep, your compassion and your connection that you want. Another really, if all else fails, another thing to do is offer to go run the errands. If there's something that needs to be grabbed from the store, you be the one to go do it. Take that break, get away for a little while, take a little extra time, maybe in the parking lot. Sit and, meditate or be on your phone for a little bit or call a friend. The stores were crowded. It just took a little extra time. There's nothing wrong with this. Take the break that you need when you need to get away from the family. I hope that these activities will help you to strike that balance between being present, but also having a little bit of personal breathing room. That's important, and you do need that. All right. I hope this all helps. Take these ideas, run with it, make them fit for you. Make them whatever you need them to be during the holiday time. No guilt and no self-judgment here. You've been through enough judgment in life. Knock it off. We don't need any more of that. And enjoy a little bingo game. I look forward to hearing how that turns out for everybody. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. You have been listening to the Covert Narcissism podcast. If you are struggling with covert narcissism in your life, I help people to heal from covert narcissistic abuse. If you are struggling with the isolation, the self-doubt, and the obsessive thinking, then this is the program for you. I offer both group and individual options. This is live, personalized coaching that is specific to covert narcissism. Reach out to me anytime. You can find me at my website, covertnarcissism.com. I'm not a therapist and you are not a victim. I am a coach and you are a survivor. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. The information provided by Renee Swanson and the Covert Narcissism podcast is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes and not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. It does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and information provided.